Today on the Daniel Baldwin Show, viewer mail and the truth, or something like the truth. Depends on what you believe. Coming at you right now. Hey everybody, welcome to the Daniel Baldwin Show, and let's get right to it with viewer mail. This is Sharon Lawford of West Palm Beach, and she says, "Hi Daniel, my husband and I are huge fans of your show." Thank you, Sharon, and thank you to your husband too. "We hear you are going to be at the event at Mar-a-Lago in April. Can we get a pic?" Sharon, yes, I am going to be at Mar-a-Lago for a veterans benefit and golf tournament. So I'm going to be down there with my brother-in-law and my sister and my wife, of course, my beautiful wife, Deasia. And we're going to be there for a couple of days supporting our veterans because we really need to right now. We are seeing a lot of action in Iran, and we need to let them know that we love them, we care about them, and we appreciate them. So I will be there. I understand 47 is going to probably stop in, so it'll be good to see the president. Haven't seen him in a while. So yeah, exciting things. And Sharon, yes, I will take a picture with you and your husband, and I appreciate your support. Speaking of which, I know I say this most shows, and that is, if you could subscribe to the show, if you could like the show, and if you could share the show, it does us a lot of help in trying to bring material and keep the show going and let people know where we stand. Let's get right into the show. So, what is the truth? How do we know what the truth is? What is, and this is very important, what is your truth? What is your, because I believe that that's what this really boils down to. What's your truth? What do you choose to believe? So I went on and I looked up just an AI Google search. How do you know what news you're watching is true? And so it came to, the first thing that came up was a CBS thing on fake news. And so I listened to the guy, the anchor guy, switched off to a correspondent who said, here's how you check, you fact check. First of all, look up on the site and see, for instance, if it's the New York Times, go on the New York Times' site and see whether or not there's a story on their site that matches the story that you're reading. So, in this particular thing said something about the election, the last election. So it was Harris, it was Trump, who's going to win, polls are showing, and it was completely nonsense because it was done in the wrong type. There was no name of the reporter that wrote the article, the journalist. Blah, blah, blah. So it was telling us all these different things. And I laughed when I saw that it was CBS because I can remember coming right on this show and telling you and quoting a CBS poll. So CBS poll said that Trump was going to lose the election, that Kamala was leading, and so did CNN, and so did a lot of other outlets. And I, of course, went against them. Even my projections were more accurate than Fox when I said, no, he'll win all 7 swing states. He's going to win the Electoral College by many, many states. It won't be that close. And, you're going to wake up tomorrow and he's going to be president again. And I got laughed at for a month while I said this. I, had members of my own family say to me, what's wrong with you? And you know more than Elizabeth Warren, and you know more than the BBC and the CNN and all. And I went, no, my sources are different. My sources are different. And believe it or not, this may sound strange to you, but when you want to know an answer to a big event like that, look at the odds in Vegas. Hear me out. The anchor person, the reporter, the network, they're not betting money on it. They're not betting money on it. Somebody that goes and puts millions of dollars on the outcome of something, you better watch the odds, because if it was 50-50 and then it goes 55 Trump, 45 Harris, 62 Trump, and just do the math. As it starts to favor another person, something's wrong with how that line is moving. Look what people are putting their money on. Look what they're putting their money on. And that was one of my biggest sources. I looked at the odds in Vegas, and Trump was a front runner by several points. And so I thought, there's got to be something to that. Now, that's not always true. There's lots of events, if everyone was right all the time against Vegas, Vegas would go broke. So, but there are certain things that you look at, that gambling lines and percentages and odds, and then get outside of America. Get outside of America, and what are they doing? What are they saying in other countries? Not what are they saying here? Because the source of that propaganda a lot of times has a stake in the game. So what CBS or CNN or some of the more democratic, left-sided news outlets like Fox is on the right side. It's more of a Republican outlet. So I looked at that. Let me read this to you. As of March 2026, Donald Trump's approval rating is low, with polls indicating around 38% to 41% approval, and a majority of Americans disapproving of his performance in his second term. While he maintains strong support among Republicans, approximately 73%, he faces high disapproval from independents and overall with, for example, 58% of voters disapproving in early March. So I'm looking at that. He got elected president. He got elected, he won the overall vote. He won the Electoral College significantly. And they say his approval rating is 41, 43%. Well, more Americans voted for him than didn't vote for him. And then I look at those numbers and I think, well, polls will show. When you hear that, that's like at least for me, it used to be. I'd be like, oh, well, look at the polls. Look at what the people are saying. Well, who are those people? Who's taking the poll? No one called me. I have never been called in my whole life. I'm 65 years old. No one has ever called me once and asked me, what do I think? When I look at the things that Trump said he was going to do, he's done almost every one of them, or tried to do them, or started doing them. He's only just past his first year. So he's got 3 more years to go. Borders clamped up. We're getting the tariffs. We're going to lower taxes. We're doing a lot of exciting things. That we are involved in an altercation in Iran that I did not see coming as far as right now. But I always said all the way back, you can go back and look at this and Google it. I'm pretty sure it'll come up as far as I'm concerned and I can go back and find the tape. If you don't think we're going into Iran to complete the trifecta, we are. We will find a reason to go into Iran because of how dangerous they are. And I believe that we want to go Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, and they're going to take us 3 pipes, bring them into one, and have the ships come in and no more barreling of oil. They're going to just load the ship up like a gas station in the Caspian Sea. So I've been saying that for 10 years. So more, 15. And now they're in there and they're going to get the regime in there that they need and they're going to turn this around and they're never going to allow them, never going to allow them to have enriched uranium and the potential for a nuclear weapon. Here's the great thing when you look at the Schiffs and the Schumers and Warren and Pelosi's and all these different people who hate Trump and make a living out of talking about how terrible he is. If you look at their policies on immigration alone, Clinton, Hillary, Obama, all of these senators, they all say the same thing. We must control the border. We cannot allow these people. Now it's Trump. They're all opposed to how he's doing it. They all ran. You can see Chuck Schumer talking about this in the 90s, getting elected on this premise, backing up everything that's being said by President Clinton, by Obama. Now it's Trump and it's terrible. It's what's he doing? ICE. There's I believe a CNN special where they travel with ICE, doing the same shit, praising how brave they are, these warriors who are going out there getting this terrible criminal foreign element out of our country. And they travel around with them on a couple of deals where they do ICE raids. Same stuff they're doing now. No 2 blocks worth of 50 protesters that are paid by George Soros or whoever. And this is all a facade. This is all a big facade that they're doing. The riots that took place in LA, this is a controlled, there's a great movie called Wag the Dog. I urge you, go watch Wag the Dog. It's about how they control the message. I mean, they they entice an altercation in Albania. And I remember watching the thing going, can they do that? And you know, Albania, who the fuck knows what Albania looks like? Think about it. How much do you know about Albania? Let's pick them. Civil unrest in Albania. They attacked the U.S., you know, there's a military excursion there, and they get you all looking over here, and there's nothing on. They're making the whole thing up. They're bringing Hollywood producers. It's like the moon landing. You know, they just produce the whole thing. But when you're watching on the news, you could swear these crazy Albanians have decided to go against America, and our boys and girls are all dun, 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 dun. Here we go. The Marines are landing. The Air Force is flying sorties. Missiles are flying. Albanian woman running with her child with her burqa over her head. And you know, the whole bit, man, it was so real. And it was a real example, an actual example of what they do now. They control the message that comes to you. So he's got a 41 approval rating. Terrible approval rating. He's slipping. But the U.S. economy in early 2026 is showing resilience with solid, albeit slow, growth and a stabilizing labor market. Though it faces uncertainty now from new tariffs, high interest rates and AI-driven market shifts. While GDP grew by 2.2% in 2025, the fourth quarter saw a slowdown to 1.4%. Consumers remain active, but inflation and cost of living concerns persist. The inflation and the cost of living concerns were inherited by the president. Remember something very, very important. When you go to places like California, where Gavin Newsom, who will probably be the Democratic ticket, or if he's not the president, I don't think he would go for vice president, but it'll be, I hope to God it's Kamala again. But Kamala and Newsom, Kamala would never run for vice president. She would have to be president. So Newsom's going to be involved probably, or he's going to be a front runner for the Democratic nominee. They can control those gas prices at the state level. They can do things that make it so screwed up. There's $5, $5.50, $5.75 in California right now, which all looks like Trump is screwing California. It's not Trump. It's Newsom. It's the state of California with state taxes and different stuff that they can do to make it really awful. So it looks like Trump is failing in California, the biggest electoral college state, which will be blue for a long, long time. They've got, you know, a stranglehold on that. New York, watch out. You know, it may not last as long as they think. Okay, so follow this now, because this is all easily available to you to look up if you look up the things that I'm saying. And just do a regular Google search on it and see. Because I'm not going to, I'll announce when I say it's CNN or is it just AI. So this is an AI report. You ready? Who has higher ratings, CNN or Fox News? Fox News has significantly more viewers than CNN, according to February 2026 Nielsen ratings. Fox News averaged 35% more viewers than CNN and MSNBC combined. In primetime, Fox News averaged 2.61 million viewers compared to 1.94 million for both competitors combined, dominating in total day and key demographics. Let that sink in for a minute. So, you sit on the left, you're a Democrat. God bless you. You know, it wouldn't be fun if it wasn't oppositional and we didn't look at it differently. We don't have to all like the same movies. We don't have to all like the same food. This is America. You know, it was built on that, the ability to choose and your freedoms. But think about that for a minute. So how does that, and trust me, this is true. Who watches CNN? Do you think, I watch CNN because I want to try to report accurately. I want to see what they're saying. So I read and watch a lot of stuff on CNN. I watch a lot of stuff on Fox. Those are my two prime go-tos. I don't watch MSNBC that much. I watch CNN, I watch Fox. In the same day, before I did the show yesterday, check in every night. What's new? What's going on? What are they saying? So when they both say something that's the same, there's a very high chance that that's true. They may do a different spin on it, but the facts, missiles flew into Tel Aviv this morning, blah, 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 blah. You know, our sonar nets, you know, in the water captured a submarine, yeah, whatever it is. So then how they spin it is different because they both have agendas. Fox for the Republicans, pro-Trump, CNN for the Democrats, against Trump and the administration. That's for sure. So, but when you hear those numbers, let me just say it to you again, because you got to catch this. There are little nuances in this. So more people watch Fox, a significantly higher, 35% more. Who's watching Fox? Republicans. Republicans are watching Fox. You're watching to see how your team is doing. That's the bottom line. When you're quoting, when you're saying, you'll hear people right on the internet, maybe you should stop watching CNN so much. Maybe you sound like a Fox reporter. Okay. So I try to fact check stuff that I'm looking at. I try to look at things, and I get accused of, you're just saying that because you're pro-Trump. And then the truth comes out, and he wins all 7 swing states, and he wins the presidency. And guess what? Do I see any of you fucking people out there that were against me saying you're sorry? Do I see even members of my own family calling me up and going, wow, bro, you called that. You were absolutely right. Even though the supposedly most qualified people, the biggest people in the news, the biggest pollsters, and I said it wasn't going to happen, and it didn't. And I said, if you don't think we're going into Iran to complete the trifecta and go in there and make sure that it's smooth until Biden pulled us out of Afghanistan, and that was a nightmare, what happened. Nightmare. I said, they're going to find a reason Joe Biden will never be the person that runs against Donald Trump. They already know he can't beat him before anything ever happened in their debate. Nothing happened in the debate. It didn't happen yet. Many months before that, I said, are you nuts? And again, and you know what I was wrong about? And so were they. I said, there's really, as I see it, an African-American woman, and I believe it'll be Michelle Obama. If Michelle Obama decides to run against Donald Trump, wow, this is going to be really, really close. I mean, because it puts Barack, in the basement of the White House, calling the signals up with her input, of course, too. But so what did they do? They found an African-American woman who was vice president. It was a terrible call. As soon as they announced that it was going to be her, why did they do that? Why did they pick Kamala Harris when they could have twisted Michelle's arm or done whatever they needed to do to try to get her to run? I'll tell you why. And I told you why when it happened. All of the money that was already donated to the Biden campaign would have had to be returned unless her running mate ran. So it was, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars were in a war chest, a super fund, to see through the commercial time and the flying and the meetings. I mean, running for president costs a lot of money. And they had collected Trump and his campaign by a lot. They had to return all of that money back and then get those people to turn around and put that money in for Kamala and not Joe. Do you think those people were going to put the money in for Kamala? No, but if they had his running mate run and he was incapacitated in some way or couldn't run, they could keep the money because she was on the ticket. And that's the reason why they picked her. It was stupid. They should have given the money back. They should have got Michelle, and Michelle probably could have made a run of it. Instead, she got her ass kicked just like I said she was going to. Listen, what do you want to believe? Who's singing the song you like? Who's the greatest Motown artist of all time? How do you ask that question? Who's your favorite Motown artist of all time? That's the question. That's really the question. When you say, and you're watching that Fox is bigger and watched by 35% more people, you don't think that the other Republicans like myself are watching what Trump's doing and they're happy? It's such bullshit that they're saying, oh, Republicans are so unhappy. I'm not unhappy. I want this thing in Iran to be stopped quickly. And trust me, I don't think that they've seen the fury yet of epic fury. That when the shit hits the fan there, we've sunk and taken out their entire navy in a week. 78 warships are at the bottom of the ocean. Gone in a week. Can you imagine you're a country, a significant power in the region, and your navy is gone in a week? Wow. This is going to be surgical. It's going to be bad if they want it to be bad, or they're going to come to the table and they're going to make sure that for the next 50 years, no, and this is what Trump's after. Don't you understand the message when it comes there? He wants to ensure and not have this happen again in 7 more years, or some other president win and screw it up or reverse the order or do it. We're not going to send plane loads like Obama and Biden did, plane loads, billions of dollars in cash. We bought them out to keep them quiet. That was the deal. That's what they did. There's proof that this happened. So Trump's not paying anybody off. You're not going to develop uranium. You're not going to have a nuclear weapon. Imagine these people with their kill America must die, kill America. These are what they were chanting in the streets under the old guard. The young people there, they want to be free, man. They want to come to America. They want America to come there. Spend your money. Let's go. You don't think that they would like to have a situation like Saudi Arabia, where we're going there spending money hand over fist, vacationing? How many people are going to Tehran on vacation this week? Hello? Not too many. So 35% more people watch Fox than CNN and MSNBC combined. You don't think the Republicans that voted for this president but are happy with what he's doing? That's such bullshit. Of course they are. It's not just 73% or whatever this thing quotes it as of the Republican Party. I don't know many Republicans that aren't happy with the way it's going. He's delivering on almost all the fronts that he said. Iran's a little cough up, but you know what? He gave them every chance to come to the table. He gave them every chance. So what is the truth? What of these do you believe? There's facts that tell you how many people watch what, and then they're trying to tell us that his approval rating has dropped. Approval rating amongst who? It's only 73% of Republicans? No, it's not. It's like 95% of the Republicans that voted for this man said, go get him, coach, let's go. And he's doing it. He's doing it. So the truth is what you want to believe. The truth is what you want to believe if you back it up by the actions that are taking place. Then believe what you will. If you believe what CNN reports all the time about Trump, that he rapes little girls, and it's all bullshit. It's all a smear campaign. He didn't rape anybody. But this will keep this alive to keep those, because they're very close elections right now. So let's just keep hammering away. If I was to do a best of politicians and what they said just on the immigration situation, I can show you tape after tape after tape of Hillary, Barack, Bill Clinton, Schumer, you name them, going down, Schiff. Is there a bigger just asshole than this guy? In my opinion, this guy really, he stinks. He's just such a piece of shit to me. He really is. Because he's wormy. He's very wormy to me. People that have made all of this money, people that have had contact, there's emails, there's text messages, there's pictures of all of them meeting with Epstein. Every one of them took his money. Every one of them kissed his ass. Every one of them were involved with him one way or another. When they knew the charges and they heard the rumors of the things that were going on, they didn't care. They didn't care because they're scumbags. That's why. Hang that one up. Let the FBI come knock on my door. Most of the people that I'm talking about are such total immoral scum. You wouldn't believe it. And you know what? If this president doesn't get caught up in the high level of justice system that will not allow a Hillary Clinton to be prosecuted, that will not allow. Now, a president is protected by certain presidential rights of things that he did while he was in office. I get that. They're untouchable. Short of walking to the White House and shooting someone on camera, they're pretty much untouchable. They can do. But after they were president, if they did stuff that was illegal, criminal acts after they were president, so what kind of things are really talked about in those files? Epstein was, in my opinion, Mossad. I think he was an Israeli agent. I think he was involved in a lot of different things that gave Israel clout, pull, that gave them strength with high-profile people that either they wanted to be quiet or they wanted to do their will. They needed their vote. They needed their consent. They needed their backing, whatever it was. Think about something. You invite someone to the island, and that first trip, you feel them out. I will be the first to tell you that in my career, and I'm not as big as a lot of these people for sure in my career. I'm an actor from a famous acting family. I've worked a lot, But I got invited to a lot of cool stuff. Never got invited to Epstein, didn't know him. But I will tell you that two things in this last part, we'll tie this up. These are both facts. These are facts. Because I travel in circles where I know very, very famous people. I have, my brother Billy's pretty famous. My brother Steven's pretty famous. My brother Alec was very, very A-list actor, very famous. And I have a lot of friends over the years that I've worked with, that I've, rubbed elbows with, and blah, blah, blah. So-and-so, we'll just call him X. X has invited you to come to his mansion in LA. He's having a big jam. Really? Well, he just won a Grammy, or he just, I would like to see that. I'm 35. It's, 1995, and I'm, on a series, and I'm hot, and I'm doing a bunch of movies, and I'm working with big names. I want to go to X's house, and I go to X's house, and X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G are all at the party. Biggest names, you name it, from Oprah to senators to blah blah blah, black tie charity, or just a jam, whatever it is. And I'm kind of intimidated by all of it. I'm there meeting these people. At that meeting, I meet the Sultan of something, and they say, yeah, we'd like you to come. I don't know what's going to happen at one of the Beatles' houses. I don't know what's going to happen at one of the, and I'm making this up. This is not that this happened, but this kind of thing. Or so-and-so, and they're singing the song, and there's 4 Grammy Award rock and rollers at this party. And I'm like, God, that's so-and-so from one of the bands that I grew up listening to. That's Mick Jagger. That's, Keith Richards. That's whoever. I wouldn't show it too overtly, but I'm a huge Rolling Stones fan. If it was a Rolling Stone, you get where I'm going. So I get invited to go to something else. When you go to that other event, you don't know who's going to be there. You don't ask, can I have a guest list, please? Okay, what are you guys doing? Big barbecue, out in Malibu. And you show up, and it's another who's who. I don't know what's going on in the other house. I don't know what's going on in the massage room. I don't know what's going on at, but you get the message. Or if it's an event at a hotel and they got 50 rooms there, I don't know what's going on. But I'm going to go, and once I go and I start to see some of the shit that looks like, you go to the Playboy Mansion, which I've been to a number of times for big events, golf tournaments and so on and so on, and we go back to the mansion afterwards, and you see some of the stuff that went on in the grotto and that kind of thing. I didn't know that went on there. So now you know that if you go to the mansion, you don't go down to the grotto, unless you want to get photographed with some topless girl who walks up to you and starts, macking on you or whatever. If that's what you're into, then you go to the grotto. If you go back to the mansion, or you go back to the guy's party, and you see 20 very young, very young girls on a private island, I would suggest you not go back. You can get caught, not knowing, being ignorant to what goes on. But then you stay in your room, you go to the dinners, you go, work out, and you get off the island and you say, wow, I'm never coming back here again. There's some freaky shit going on here. Now, I believe that there's a number of celebrities that happened with. I believe there's a number of people that went once. They groom them. They throw a couple of young girls at them. They throw a young man at them, whatever. And they see what they're into if they take the bait. And if they do, they go back to the island. But every time they went, they were videotaped. This guy had cameras everywhere, in the shower, in the bathroom, in the living room, outside on the patio. He saw everything. They filmed every one of those people so that they could get them in a situation where that film had value. So if you need, hypothetically, Tom Hanks, Clooney, President Clinton, people that own giant computer companies, whatever it is, billionaires, and you want to put them in a situation they're married or they're doing something illegal with an underage child, get it on videotape. Watch how quickly you will do the liking of that other person that has that tape. Watch how quickly you get agents for Netanyahu and Israel saying, we need X, Y, and Z, and we hope that you're going to help us get that. And they go, well, wait a minute, why would I? Well, we have this video. Do you remember your last trip? Do you remember Emma, the young girl that said she was the daughter of a? We have videotape of the living room, the bedroom, and all of it. They're going to do whatever you want them to do. They're going to vote for whatever you want them to vote for. That's what this operation was. It was an operation. It was an operation. But if you go back 20 times, do you really expect me to believe that you didn't participate in those things? With all the reports, all the pictures. Do you really, when you have the nerve to have as many pictures as there are of Hillary Clinton with Epstein, to have her, it's a joke, to have her look at and say, I don't know Jeffrey Epstein. I never went to the island. I have no recollection really of who he is. And there's 25 pictures of her with Bill and him laughing with her, and fundraisers, checks and deposits made from his accounts into, it just goes on. And you know what? I didn't do it. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do it. Even if the evidence is there. And will they get her? She wasn't a president. Will they actually get her and put her in jail for the things that she's done? Probably not. Probably not. They'll probably find some sacrificial lambs. They'll continue to smear a bunch of different people that oppose them. But the ones that really ran that club, that were members of that club with Epstein, who's not dead. Jeffrey Epstein's not dead. That's so stupid. I call that one. How long before that proof comes out? How long before Jeffrey Epstein steps forward and shows up in front of a Senate subcommittee and says, hey, I'm back. Hey, I'm back. I wanted to straighten out the record. Will he be 80? Will that ever happen? Will there be videotape released and they'll all say, we're not sure who it is? What do you believe? What do you believe? What source is palpable and real and resonates for you? There's the truth, and then there's your truth, and then there's the absolute truth. And we very rarely get the absolute truth, very rarely. So you have to believe in your truth. You have to look at, why would this person say this? Why would this person do this? What's in it for them? Who are they protecting? What are they trying? And I think that the guy we have in office right now is going to pull a lot of people's pants down and expose them. You watch, no pun intended. That's the show for today. I'm going to end, as I do every show, and I'm very proud of this, in prayer. So, dear Lord God, thank you for your guidance and your protection. We love you so much, Jesus. We love you. You are our Savior and our King. And we ask you, God, to protect our war fighters who are in Iran right now on ships deployed all around Iran and working hard and timelessly and sacrificing so much to keep us free and make sure that no one gets nuclear weapons. And Lord, let's get them home soon, God, and not another single death if we can avoid it, God. On either side, I don't want Iranian people to die. I don't. I want them to see the light and have the new government come in, Khomeini's son, have him step in and be wiser than his father, and end this craziness. Or it's going to be really, really bad for him and his people. So God, let's pray that we don't let that happen. In your name, we pray, amen. So that's the show. What's your truth, people? What is your truth? Every single show I do, I try to bring you the truth. It is slanted towards what I believe, but it's checked and it's true. So, and there's options. Not every truth has to be absolute and become reality. I'm projecting to you. So remember, just again to check, there are going to be digital coins and a digital system. And I said, I think the American dollar is doomed. I'm still pretty sure that's going to happen. I think that we're going to tokenize. It's going to be keep us in contact with the rest of the world. It won't be the American dollar in exchange for, it'll be tokens. And I've said this for quite some time. The American dollar is going to probably crash. It's losing its value in a lot of ways. And although I believe our economy is getting stronger, I think that you're going to see at least the option of tokenization along with the dollar for a while. And then kind of like what they did in El Salvador, Bukele, who's very, very bright man, great president, has a huge approval rating in El Salvador. The people love him because he's very progressive and he really is for his people and the advancement of that small country. And they have advanced exponentially. I mean, they're a player in Central America. They're not a giant global player yet, but just watch. They keep going. I'm proud to say I know Yamil Bukele. He's a great human being, great dad, and a great statesman for that country. So look forward to my next visit down there with people that understand the future. And that's what's going on with Trump, I believe. You see, we're going to have a coin here pretty soon, probably before the end. I don't know if it'll get done totally before the end of 2026, but by sometime in 2027, I don't know, you're going to see an option of something besides the dollar to spend here in the U.S. So look for it. I've been saying it now for a while. Sometimes it takes longer than I think, but it's coming. God bless you. Talk to you later.